Students, let us begin with our class. So here I have already written the sub-concepts of tautology and contradiction. So in the previous already we had learned few of the phrases like and, or, if, then, if and only if is negation. So here tautology is nothing but the last column. The last column means what? It is nothing but called as output. Yes or no? The last column will always remain true, and in case of contradiction, whatever the last column we have in the truth table, it will be always false. That means the output whatever we are getting, it should be false, and in this case, in tautology case, whatever output we are getting, it should be true. Okay, so these are nothing but the two concepts which we were left out in the previous class, which I said I'll be starting with tautology and contradiction. Hope you have understood with this concept. So here contradiction will be learning one example also, and tautology means any statement which is in the false, we'll be writing it in form of true. That is nothing but called as the output. Hope you all have understood. Now we'll be moving on. So before moving on, here tautology you can even remember in the concept of the sets. Tautology is nothing but what? It is nothing but the universal, that is set of all the elements also I can consider where all the elements are true. Next, when it comes with contradiction, it is nothing but the complete null set. That means all the statements will be false. Hope it is clear for you. And this is very important for your JE. Most of the time, from this concept, that is tautology, the statements will be given to us. We need to convert them into a true statement. So it is more questions have been asked from this concept, as it is very, very important. Now we'll be moving on with the next concept, that is algebra of statements. Okay. So students, I have written some of the important properties, okay, which will be using directly in the competitive bits, because you should not feel tough there. What I have done, everything in briefly I have written almost in 8 properties. See that you're going to take the screenshot of it and you're going to write down, and these properties will be directly using in our competitive bits. Hope it is clear for you all. It is not there in the textbook. Okay, for your reference I have written each and every property here. See that you're going to understand this properties. Hope it is clear for you all. Okay, so I'll move on with the properties now. The first property says that P or P is equivalent to P. That means when two component statements, when they are same, the statement or the output what we are getting is nothing but P itself. Here also in case of and, what we are going to consider, if both the statements are same, then obviously the and statement will be equal to the P itself. This is nothing but called as idempotent. Is it clear? It is called as idempotent. When two of the component statements are same, connected with the word or and, then these two are called as what? They are called as idempotent when they are both are same component statement. Is it clear? Now we'll be moving on with the next one. Here it is nothing but commutative. These all words, commutative property, associative, distributive, De Morgan's complement, these all you have heard already in the sets chapter as well as in your 10th standard chapter also. Okay, I'll be giving a glance of it. Here commutative property is nothing but, can you just check, P or Q is equivalent to Q or P. Here these all, it will be asked in competitive bits. Directly it will be given there. P or Q is equivalent to, they will be given many options, then you need to choose a right answer. Okay, in case of or and in case of and, it remains the same. What it remains the same is P or Q is equivalent to Q or P, or P and Q is equivalent to Q and P. This is nothing but called as commutative property. Here it is associative property, in which two component statement and one component statement is left outside, as used to do A union B union with C. Yes or no? The same way here we are distributing what? Distributing this common bracket, P or Q or R. The one more component statement is equivalent to P or, again we have changed the bracket, we have applied it for Q or R. Is it clear? So the same way it applies for the next property also. Here associative property, in which we are going to consider 3 sets there. Yes or no? 3 sets will be considering in the set chapter, A, B, C. Same as here I am considering 3 components, P component, Q component and R component. What is component also I have already taught you all. Yes or no? Component statements, whenever a compound statement is split up into 2 statements connected with a word and, that is nothing but called as component statement. There I explained. The same concept I am using here also. Next one is what? Distributive property. Here P is distributed among Q and R. Can you see? P is distributed among Q and R. So P or Q, P and will remain as it is, P or R. P or Q and will remain as it is, P or R. Same as union and intersection. Union is distributed over intersection. Intersection is distributed over union. We used to solve there, right, in the sets chapter. Same way here also we are using that concept only, wherein P is distributed among Q and R with respect to the word, connective phrase word or and. Is it clear? This property is nothing but called as distributive property. It is very, very important, students. See that you're going to understand this properly, because in the competitive bits directly will be applying here. Okay. Next one, we'll move on with the De Morgan's law. So what does it state here? Negation of both P or Q is equivalent to, always it remains the same. If you want, even you can consider what truth tables and find out the answer. You'll be getting the same thing. That is negation of P and negation of Q. Same way, negation of P and Q implies that it is vice versa. Negation of P or negation of Q. This is nothing but called as De Morgan's law. These all, if you want also, what you can do, you can consider the truth table. Okay, like as I had considered P component, Q component. In P component, I had considered the first column as true, true, false, false. Next one, true, false, true, false. And later I had found the output. Same way you can solve even this also. Okay, as those all solving is not important, so directly I have written the properties here. And you can see I have mentioned also it is the important property. Is it clear? And this De Morgan's law, always it is asked in JEE exam. Is it clear? It is an important question also. That is, the whole negation for P or Q will be always equivalent to negation of P and negation of Q. Same way, if and is present, here it will be or, but negation here it is applied for the whole bracket, here it is applied for individual component statement. Hope this is clear for you all, students. Now we'll be moving on next one with the complement here. Okay, so what does complement state that? P or negation of P. When we solve both of this, you will be getting equivalent to a true statement. P and negation of P, when you solve, you'll be getting a false statement. This is nothing but called as complement. A dash, do you remember in the sets? Same way here also it is with respect to the component statements. Now next one will be moving on with the contrapositive and converse. It is present in your textbook also. So what do you mean by contrapositive? P, if P then Q is equivalent to negation of Q implies negation of P. That means what? If I have any statement given to us there, two component statements connected with the word and, so you're going to take it vice versa. Like how you're going to consider? First you're going to consider the Q component statement with a negation and later P component statement with a negation. That is nothing but called as contrapositive. We'll be dealing some examples, no need to worry about it. Okay, so just you need to remember is, if P implies Q is always equivalent to negation of P implies negation of, negation of Q implies negation of P. Hope this is clear for you, students. Okay, and the last one is P implies Q. This is nothing but called as converse. So you're just going to change the complement statements. Q statement you're going to write first and later you're going to write the P statement. In this case, Q statement first and later P statement, but that statement you'll be using there not of P, not of Q, not of P. Same way, Q implies P. This is nothing but called as converse. Hope you have understood these properties. These are very, very important, students. Is it clear? See that you're going to take the screenshot of it and you're going to write it, because in the competitive bits directly we'll be using these all components, because it should be easy for you all in the competitive bits. Some more of the tricks I've directly used and I've written in this form of properties such that it will be helpful for you all to understand the competitive bits very easily. Is it clear? So students, let us complete the remaining exercise of our chapter. So few problems I'll be solving. Okay, only few problems, and remaining problems, see that you're going to solve it on your own. Is it clear? Because all are the same similar problems. So I'll just quickly glance with the revision. Okay, that is the word and or, which we already studied, and one more word which I had to teach you all was there exist for all. There exist and for all is nothing but called as quantifiers. Is it clear? If you are getting the phrases of words there exist and for all, if these two words are present, then it is called as quantifiers. Keep it in your mind. Okay, when we are doing with this example, I'll be asking which are quantifiers. From that statement you need to identify if the word or if the phrase there exist is present or for all is present. There exist and for all mean the same. That means what? Each and every component or each and every elements are present in that statement. Is it clear? So and is what? And is nothing but when both the component statements are true, the output also must be true, which we already learned. Yes or no? Same as when we moved on with or, there we learned as what? Even if one of the component statement is true, the output will remain true. Yes or no? Same as in or, we have again two more properties or conditions there. Okay, that is inclusive or and it is called as exclusive or. So inclusive or is nothing but you have two options. So in any two options you need to select any one of the options, like in a given statement. Okay, for example, I'll just tell you all the statement. A student who has taken biology or chemistry can apply for MSc microbiology program. This is nothing but what? It is nothing but inclusive or. So in or we have again two more properties or conditions which you can call it as. So inclusive or, two options are there. Either if I study biology or either if I have taken chemistry, I can opt for MSc microbiology. Here two options are present in that statement. Here nothing, it is so big. Okay students, no need to worry here. So what do you mean by inclusive or? Two options will be present for us. So in those two options, both the options will be opted for the given course. Here what statement I used regarding with that statement I'm saying. So it applies for all the examples. Okay, and what do you mean by exclusive or? Here exclusive or means either only one option. In the previously you had two options. The same example if I want to consider, you can even consider it as a student who has taken biology can only opt for MSc microbiology program. Is it clear? Only one option will be present there. So it is called as exclusive or if one option, or if one more condition. Inclusive or is nothing but you have two options. In those two options you can consider any one of the option which will be opted for the given statement. Hope this is clear. So using these concepts, that is and, or, as well as quantifiers, so these all play an important role for this exercise 14.3. so before we move on to this, okay, the solved examples. From the solved example 1 I'll be just explaining you all. See the page number 330. There we have the solved example, sixth one. So sixth one states that a line is straight and extends indefinitely in both direction. So here what they have given as, write the component statement of the following compound statement and check whether the compound statement is true or false. So I'll just repeat it once again. A line is straight and extends indefinitely in both the directions. Yes students, now what is a component statement? Obviously we have here two component statements, right? So the first component statement is a line is straight and the second component statement is a line extends indefinitely in both the directions. Yes or no? Here in this case a line is straight. Obviously it is a true statement. Next one, a line extends indefinitely in both the direction. Yes, obviously it will be what? It is also a true statement. This is nothing but with regard to the word and, whenever it is connected between both the two component statements. Hope it is clear for you all. And next one will be moving on with or. In or, I'll just give you two examples there from the solved example. To enter a country, you need a passport or a voter registration card. So here you need to identify whether it is inclusive or exclusive. So I'll just repeat the statement once again. Listen carefully. To enter a country, you need a passport or a voter registration card. That means what? Either if you have a passport or if you have a registration card also, it is okay. That means what? Any one is opted for us. Okay, it is same like what? It is same like inclusive. Either if I take passport or either if I have registration card also, they will allow me inside the country. Is it clear? Next one, the school is closed if it is a holiday or a Sunday. Same way, whenever it is holiday also the school remains closed, whenever it is Sunday also the school will remain closed. So obviously what statement it is, students? It is nothing but the inclusive statement. Okay, one example I'll give you all for the exclusive. Yes, students can take French or Sanskrit as their third language. So here they have only one option. Can you just check it out? In both, they cannot opt for both of the options. They have only one option. So when it comes with only one option, what I said, it is nothing but exclusive. So here it is connected with the word or, but student cannot take both French and Sanskrit. They need to take only one, that is either French or either Sanskrit. Is it clear, students? Now we'll move on with the exercise which I have already written on the board there. So what does the first main? I have not written the first main question here, sub question. Okay, directly I have written first main, and in that two examples I've considered, and in the second main 2 example, and the third and fourth one I'll just say it orally. You can do it. Okay, so the first main says that for each of the following compound statements, first identify the connecting words and then break it into component statements. So here first of all we need to identify the connective word, yes, and later we need to move on to just differentiate between P component and Q component. So just watch here. All rational numbers are real and all real numbers are not complex. One second. Okay, just make that correction. I have not written all. Okay, all rational numbers are real and all real numbers are not complex. So in this first they said to identify the connective word, yes or no. The connective word is what? It is and here. Yes. Now we'll move on with the next statement. Square of integer is positive or negative. So here connective word is or. Is it clear for you? So in this, after identifying the connective words, next we need to just bifurcate them as two components, two different components. So the first component, all rational numbers are real and all real numbers are not complex. So this is your P component and this is your Q component. Hope it is clear. Okay. Next one will move on. Square of integer is positive. So this is one component. This is your P component. Next one you can write it as square of integer is negative. Is it clear, students? So this is one Q component. This is nothing but your first part of the exercise. So third one and fourth one you can solve it because as it is very easy for you all to solve. Okay. Next one. Second one, identify the quantifiers using the following statements and write the negation of the statements it is given. So negation means when it is true statement you need to write it as a false statement. When it is a false statement you need to write it as what? A true statement. Yes or no, students? So here first of all we need to identify what are quantifiers. I just now explained. In the quantifiers, if their existence for all is present, then it satisfies the given condition I said. So here just read the question here. There exists a number which is equal to its square. So in this whole statement, can you see there exists is present here? Yes, there exists is nothing but what? It is nothing but called as the quantifier. Now what we need to write the negation of it? We need to write negation is nothing but there does not exist. I'll just write it. There does not exist a number which is equal to its square. Hope this is clear for you all. So here we need to first identify what is the quantifier. Yes. Okay. And after identifying this, for this statement you need to write what? Negation of it. This is your P component. You are writing negation of P. Is it clear? You are nothing but writing but negation of P. So negation of P, there exists a number which is equal to its square it is given. You can write the negation. There does not exist a number which is equal to its square. Okay, hope this concept is clear for you. Now we will move on with the third main as well as the fourth main from your textbook. as I've not written there, they are very simple questions. They are hardly scheduled to identify just the negation of each other, which we have already solved in the 14.1 exercise. For that purpose, I have not written that question here. And same as fourth one, state whether or is used in the following statement. Okay, when you need to identify what, you need to identify whether it is inclusive or exclusive. Sun rises or the moon sets. Now can you just tell whether it is inclusive or exclusive? Here we have only one option, it can be done. Sun rises and the moon sets. Obviously when sun is raised, you can't see the moon. Yes or no? You have only one option. So it is nothing but called as exclusive or. Hope it is clear for you, students. Hoping that you have understood this exercise, and the remaining problems you'll be doing it on your own. I'll be just moving on with the next exercise. So students, now let us move on with the next exercise, which I've already written there, 14.4. So there we have almost first main, second main, third main and fourth main. Okay, I have only written the second main, which is very, very important. That is contrapositive and converse. The remaining, the first, third and fourth, you can solve it on your own. The first main is you need to write using if then, different number of statements for the given statement. And in the third main, you need to write using if then. Okay, I'll just say one example. You get a job implies that your credentials are good. Okay, so you need to write it in what, using the word if then, yes or no. If you get a job, then your credentials are good. So same way you'll be opting for all the statements and doing that exercise. Is it clear, students? They are very easy. Next one, and the fourth one is given statements in A and B, identify the statements given below are contrapositive of each other or no. Now I'll be explaining the contrapositive and converse. There you can easily identify the fourth main. Is it clear? Now we'll be moving on with the second main, which is very, very important even in your competitive also. Is it clear, students? Now I have hardly written, there are I think almost 4 or 5 questions there. I have written only the 2 questions to make you understand properly. Is it clear? Now we'll be moving on with the question here. So what does the question say? The first question states that if x is a prime number, then x is odd. So what did I say about the contrapositive statement? I always said there, previously when I taught with the properties, there I explained saying that first you need to identify the p component and q component. So what is p component here? If x is a prime number, is a p component, then x is the odd, which is nothing but a q component. So there it was like p implies q is equivalent to negation of q implies negation of p. Yes or no? Which is your contrapositive. I am saying with respect to contrapositive, this one. Converse is negation of, converse will be what? P implies q is equivalent to q implies p. So here only we need to solve for contrapositive, applying what? Applying the negation here. Is it clear, students? So how we are going to write here? If x is not odd, it is q's component first. Okay, if x is not odd, because negation is present, and next we need to write then x is not a prime number. Is it clear for you all? Have you all understood? I'll be writing now it on the board, so just pay attention here. First I'll write p component. Okay, what is your p component? If x is a prime number. Is it clear, students? Next one, q component, what we are having? Q component is if x is odd. Fine. If not, even you can write then x is odd also, you can write. If you want, you can write then x is odd. Now we have the p component, we have the q component. Now what we need to do is we need to write it in what? In form of, it is already present here. P implies q, it is already present in this question. But we need to write equivalent to negation of q implies negation of p. So contrapositive is nothing but, so first we'll be writing contrapositive, just now which I said. Okay, so contrapositive states what? Negation of q implies negation of p. Yes or no? That means this should be added with the word negation. Negation means how we'll be writing? If x is not a odd number. Yes or no? So what I'll write? If x is not a odd number. Okay, this is your first component statement of negation Q. Next one implies negation of P. That means what we used to write? We must write here if X is not a prime number. So what I'll write? If X is not an odd number, then X is not a prime number. Is it clear, students? Hoping you all are understanding. Just see here. If X is a prime number, then X is a odd. First, we need to identify P component, and next one Q component. This is important. Contrapositive and converse. Hardly I have written only with the contrapositive. So contrapositive, what we need to write? Negation of Q implies negation of P. That means if and then what should be present there? Implication. If X is not a odd number, then X is not a prime number. This is nothing but what? Contrapositive. Just check whether negation of Q is present here. Yes. Negation of P is present here. Yes. So it will satisfy with the contrapositive. Now we'll be moving on with the next one, which is nothing but the converse. What did I say when I was teaching in the properties there? Converse is nothing but here we have P implies Q, okay, which is equivalent to Q implies P. Here we have written using not. Only we just need to remove this word not, and we need to write the converse statement. So I'll be writing if X is a odd number, then X is a prime number. Hope this is clear for you, students. Okay, here we need to add not for contrapositive and we need to remove the not for the converse. Okay, now let us move on with the next example which I have written here. So here first of all we'll identify what is a P component statement. So what is a P component statement here? X is an even number. Yes or no? Next, Q component. What we are having Q component? X is here. Directly what I have done, instead of writing the word divisible, I have written divided sign. X is divisible by 4. So from the given compound statement, from the given implication statement, we have written the two component statement. Okay, now next what we need to write? We need to write the contrapositive and converse. So the first one, contrapositive will be writing. Okay, so contrapositive was what? Negation of Q implies negation of P. That means we need to add negation for this statement. If X is not, why not? Because here negation is present. Okay, if X is not divisible by 4. Instead of writing this whole word, I have just written in the form of divisible sign. Hope it is clear for you. So the first one, negation of Q, we have satisfied. Yes or no? If X is divisible by 4, it is Q component. We need to add what? Not there. If X is not divisible by 4, then X is not an even number. Okay, students, hope this is clear for you. This is nothing but the contrapositive. Now next one will be moving on with the converse here. Converse, what you need to write? Q implies P. Yes or no? Q implies P. How you will be writing here? If X is divisible by 4, then X is an even number. Yes or no? The same statement, but not what will be, just removing it. Is it clear for you? Hoping that you have understood this part. See that you are going to solve the remaining problems on your own. Okay, I'll just have a glance here just to see once again. If X is a prime number, then X is odd. First, you need to identify the component statement. If X is a prime number, the first one, if. Next, then from where it starts, that is your Q component. Then X is odd. Now we need to write contrapositive. How we are going to write? Negation of Q implies negation of P. Yes or no? So what I'll write? Negation of Q means we know if it is a true statement, we'll be writing it in the form of false. Yes or no? So if X is not a odd number, then X is not a prime number. So converse of it, you'll be just removing the word not here. If X is a odd number, then X is a prime number. Same it implies with the next example also. Contrapositive, negation will be present, and in converse, negation will not be present. But they are the same. How I'll tell you they are same? Because Q implies P. Here also it is Q implies P. But here we have negation. Keep it in your mind. Don't confuse both the contrapositive as converse and get confused there. Contrapositive means it is negation. Converse means it is Q implies P. Okay students, have you understood this exercise? And the last one, the last exercise 14.5, what I'll do in the next class, next video, I'll be solving one problem of 14.5 and I expect you all to solve the remaining problems. It is based on the validating statement which you have already learned. It is completely contrapositive, converse, each and every concept is present there. Okay, so next video I'll solve one of the problem, that is from 14.5, and I request you all to solve the other problems. Hoping that this video is very clear for you all, the board is clear. See that I said you all in the previous class also, see that you're going to understand each and every problem, because it is important. If it is deleted also, but for your knowledge sake it is much more important. Okay students, see that you're going to stay home, stay safe, but you're going to study simultaneously. Thank you students.